here after another great day of events. I was in the audience this time, drove all the way out to the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce for Business Excellence Awards. And while that's not necessarily always, let's say, my group, I live across town. Definitely very inspired about hospitality. I got so much from it because being in community with people who are doing good things in this world and having an idea and going all in on that idea to make the world a better place is obviously something near and dear to my heart. And I wanted to get on here today, second week in a row of doing a live stream, pretty exciting, and talk about the conversation that everybody seems to be having around America right now. How do we get better quality employees? And I think that I'm the perfect person to help this problem because of my talent and skill and studying of articulating things that people have a hard time expressing. And that is really what this is about, seeing nuances, expressing things, seeing different sides and different perspectives, and helping two different sides come together like a mediator. This has been something I've been very adept at since I was a child, and living all over the world in 35 countries just really helped give me this unifying perspective that we're all united in certain universal truths, whether that is our culture to culture and talking about culture as most people think it. I see culture in everything. Curly hair is a culture, men and women are a culture, different generations to generations are cultures. And there have been a lot of conversations from both sides of the spectrum, younger entry level workforce and senior leaders that I've been having in the last 7 days since I was on here. And the first thing that's coming to mind is this idea that, well, we shouldn't put generations into boxes because you can't generalize like that, or they're not really any different than generations before them. They want the same things, they're just not afraid to ask about it. For instance, mental health, work life balance, traveling, using our time for something meaningful, for a greater good. These are these are certain human truths. Stay with me. Certain human universal truths. Now, whether we've been programmed to say, well, you know, I won't personify the voice. My late grandfather is coming to mind, to be honest, right now. He is somebody that wouldn't necessarily agree with this idea that our jobs should be more than jobs. So there's this clash of generations, and there's the one camp that they're not any different. They don't have any different values. They're just not afraid to speak up. And then there's this idea that, yes, they actually are. And that's what I want to break into today. This idea that, first of all, the sooner that we can stop blaming the two different sides, the sooner we can arrive to a solution. And it is actually true that developmentally, the brain and behavior pathways that were created in, let's say, 22 to 25-year-olds today, because of societal factors like video games, yes, video game culture actually has a place in the workforce today because of the way that the brain's developed. Now, if you're my age or older and you grew up playing 90s video games, SNES, hard games that were long levels, they would maybe give you 3 to 5 lives and then you'd game over. You had to play the same thing over and over and over again, and it built this frustration tolerance that game developers moved away from as the marketplace became more competitive. Kids, people, they have more options. They don't want to choose the harder games. They get too frustrated. So let's make levels shorter, games easier, instant respawn. Let's give them unlimited lives. And it seems like we're just talking about video games and what changes were made to sell more products. But in actuality, we're talking about developmental behaviors that are different between the workforce before today and today. So that's the first thing that I want to say. Yes, it's true that many of the Gen Z, the rising workforce generation, do have the same values that we did, and they're just not afraid to speak up about them. I also am introducing the idea that developmentally, there have been changes to their behaviors, their skill sets. And before we all start saying they just don't have common sense, I'm going to introduce another perspective. Imagine how much lack of common sense they would say that we may have about the digital tech things that's so intuitive to them that we get frustrated about and we can't seem to figure out because they change the interface too fast and it's not the way it used to be. Okay? So, nobody is to blame here. Common sense can mean a lot of different things depending on your vantage point. And the sooner we stop being frustrated with them and acknowledge that the world they grew up in created much different behaviors today, the sooner we can show up as the leaders they need us to be instead of the leaders that we've always been. So, if you're listening in today, I'm going to share 3 tips for helping develop your talent, your workforce into better leaders, the way that you want them to perform. And then at the end, I'm going to share a tip for what to do if you want to recruit workforce and talent and young leaders into your organization. If you're having a hard time recruiting them, stay till the end or fast forward, and that tip is coming at the end. So, if you already have a workforce of young people, and you're just not getting the results that you want. You feel like they're lazy, they're unmotivated, they don't want to be there. We're going to apply 3 tips today. 3 things you can do immediately, right now, as soon as you're done watching this, or simultaneously, if you want to type and send something out that can help you get better quality employees right now. Are you ready? Okay. The first thing is that you are going to provide them with some starting steps. So, taking this video game culture metaphor a little bit further, the games that they grew up on had tutorials, arrows, guidance. We were just winging it. We had no idea, but we had endless time. We had endless focus. Nothing was begging for our attention to jump ship. And that is what all these social media platforms do. Everything today, I mean, how many, somebody knows this, somebody watching knows this better than I do, I'm sure, millions, billions of dollars. How many millions or billions of dollars annually go into people in Silicon Valley being paid to create new ways to take our attention? It is a hot commodity, it is a currency. So we can just get over the fact that kids these days don't have the attention span. Kids these days need handholding. Okay, let's flip that perspective on the head because kids these days, today's workforce is the most growth oriented workforce than we've seen before. What moves them to want to work with an employer, stay with an employer for the long term, be loyal to that employer is actually how much growth mentorship they can get. So, let's not be frustrated. Let's instead look at this as an opportunity and let's give them starting steps, understanding that their brain is wired a bit differently than ours was. And it's nobody's fault. So, what do starting steps look like? Instead of just being like, you got it, go, don't mess it up, say, try these 3 approaches and then do what you think is best. And now there's duality here because you're giving them guidance and starting steps, but you're also giving them this autonomy, which is a really important piece. I don't want to side rail into it too much, and how autonomy is one of the 4 factors that help flow state, the high performance genius zone known as flow state, it helps flow state happen, and I that's all I'm gonna say on it because I can go and talk about this on a soapbox for 10 minutes easily. We can talk about that next week. Just know the first tip that you're taking is starting steps, try these 3 approaches, plus autonomy. Do what you think is best. I trust you. The micromanaging, it's never been helpful. It's particularly unhelpful today. So, any place that you don't need to do it, relax, but don't just pull away and say they don't know what to do. Give them that guidance, give them that starting step first. And you are going to be so surprised at how this young workforce rises, eager, bright, maybe asking thought provoking and meaningful questions, engaged, on time, prompt. Give them the growth and the structure that makes them come alive, and you're going to see really different results. Number two Number 2 is show them examples of what good looks like. This is a mistake that I've seen so many organizations make back when I was a brand director and in charge of communications, especially when there would be a merger. We've got 7 different consumer packaged goods, for example, CPG industry coming under one large my hand gestures are a little funny today. 7 CPG, consumer packaged good brands. So that's like things you shop for at the store, Heinz ketchup, cereal, things like that. 7 coming under one umbrella brand. And they would have to communicate what their voice was, what their website should be, what their messaging should sound like. And everybody's assumption of what a certain word meant or even what good messaging might be, well, that is so subjective to your perspective from where you're standing. So, give them examples of what a good email looks like, what a strong customer interaction looks like, what a polished deliverable looks like. And again, we're not being frustrated here. They should just know. They don't know. So let's show them. Let's show up as the leader that brings out the best in them. Because this is an amazing time in history. We have a young workforce eager to learn and grow and make a difference in this world. We just need to engage them in new ways. And this is the best thing that could have happened to us. And so, number 3, I got it right this time. Number 3, actually, let's do a recap. We've got number 1, give them starting steps in autonomy. Number 2, show them examples of what good is. Number 3, give them practice rounds. I love this one so much. We're not being frustrated that they have a hard time or they're anxious about approaching somebody at a cashier or picking up the phone. You guys know that I'm somebody who has gone through that transformation. I've overcome that adversity. I was so shy growing up. My parents would force me to call the pizza delivery person to pay for whatever, not even pay, just hand the money over at the cashier at the grocery store to force these interactions. And I'm better for it. I'll tell you, I'm much better for having worked in food and beverage, in the hospitality industry. I had my plan. I knew what I was going to do. I was laser focused on the 1, 2, 3, climb up the corporate ladder as a hospitality design student. Interior architecture and design for restaurants was I won an award for it. I won a scholarship. I won an award. I got to go to Vegas to explore all of the casinos and restaurants as part of this award for outstanding achievement in hospitality design, 100% job placement. And then, boom, I was bartending. Late nights, actually, I was serving. Bartending was a promotion and quite a big one. Actually, I started hosting, if you wanna know the truth, and they did not respect my time. PF Chang's in Jacksonville. This was many years ago. I would drive 30 minutes across town, get there, and they'd be like, "Oh, we actually don't need you today. Go home." I could have been so frustrated with the hospitality industry and left for good, but instead, I stuck with it. Maybe I had to. When everything else in the world goes bottoms up, so do the drinks. And I not only made a very lucrative living back then, not because they pay, what was it, 213 an hour back then, but because I was able to carve my own way. And I think that that's one of the things that is so great about the hospitality industry. And it's like this leadership incubator. The people skills, the presence, the customer service, maximum efficiency, attention to detail, the list goes on. All of these qualities that I was able to learn as a food and beverage person, as a bartender in service industry, has set me up to rise to the top of what is now my 4th industry after the rug continuously got pulled out from under me because we're living in a very disrupted world. And certainty is not certain. The only thing that's certain about certainty is that you're going to go through large periods of uncertainty. Everything about life is uncertain. But if you have these core leadership skills that food and beverage and hospitality teach, you're going to be a better leader. So, that was a little bit to your younger staff, my little pep talk of why I care so much about hospitality. But those practice reps that come through that can be applied in lightning speed time in the workplace. You can help give them customer interactions. You can help them get past the fear without being frustrated with them that growing up, with their phone in a face, not on their phone in a face, their phone in a face, their face in a phone, their face in a phone. Not only does it, like, really actually narrow your vision? I noticed that when I went back to the library last month after reading the Kindle app on my 9 by 16 phone for a decade, books were so wide. My attention span. So not only is it messing with vision and like depth perception, field of vision, I don't know, somebody that's listening, help me out with whatever word I'm thinking here, whatever phrase, but it alters the brain chemistry in the same way that I was talking about with the video games. And one of these days, you guys are going to be like, Christy, I'm dying to hear all the science, geek out on, geek out with me like crazy, deep dive, tell me all of it. But for today, we're focusing on the actionable tips and trusting that these things do actually impact the brain behavior connection. All right. So today, if you want better quality employees, you have 3 steps to help bring out the best in today's workforce. You're going to give them starting steps in autonomy. You're going to show them examples of good. You're going to give them practice reps. And if bonus, cherry on top, this is for people who are wanting to recruit more young professionals into their industry, into their organization. The tip that you need to hear today is that the mistake that you're making is you're not communicating your value in the way they need to hear. Let's look at the same food and beverage hospitality. I posted about this a couple days ago with a picture of baby Christy bartending and baby Christy, 23-year-old Christy, whatever, bartending. And every comment on there blew up. The post blew up across platforms like 1 billion percent everybody should work in the hospitality. 1 billion percent young professionals the best industry for young professionals is hospitality. Somebody even posted, this is the rule that all my kids will live by. They must go into the service industry to learn to be better people and better leaders. So the value is there in hospitality, but the reason that it's experiencing 2 times the turnover and recruitment challenges of other industries, maybe tech or remote work, it's a narrative problem. It's a communication problem. It's a brand alignment problem, aligning what you are saying about your brand to their values and their expectations of lifestyle. And now, as somebody who has worked remotely for way before it was cool, 2020, 2015. So 10 years. I'm going on 11 years of working remotely, and working remotely from home got really, really old a couple years ago. There's so many things about going to a job to work, interacting with people, being in customer service that really makes a lot of the mental health issues that we're experiencing today from loneliness and being inside our 4 walls all the time. We're not meant for that. We're not meant for that. Going in person, I believe the workforce today is going to favor. We just need somebody to spokesmodel the new narrative, the new expectation. I am exactly that perfect person. I've lived in 35 different countries. Hospitality is my home industry. I was in food and beverage, hospitality design, tourism. Now I'm in events and meeting planning. And let me tell you, there is no better industry than hospitality, especially if you're a young professional looking to grow and develop skills. So, if you found this valuable, I invite you to subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter where you can see all these tips in written form with all the stats that I love, or reach out and let's have a conversation. I can talk about this all day long. I would love to talk about this with you until the sun comes up, understand your unique challenges, share the 4 pivotal communication shifts that I see all organizations struggling to get talent today, engaged, recruited, loyal 4 shifts that help them all and apply it to your unique situation. So, I'm a brand director, communication expert. I love aligning my messaging with your annual initiatives, your themes, your unique challenges. Let's figure this out together and bring you the best year of talent that you've ever had because hospitality is the future. It is a people centered industry, and all the young people I'm having conversations with today, I'm like, "It sounds like you belong in hospitality. It sounds like you belong in hospitality. Come with me to this luncheon. Come with me to this event." They want it, but it's getting lost in translation. So, I'm that person, the mediator the market needs, the translator to help you communicate your value in the way today's workforce